that brings us to this week. Saturday night, 7 o'clock on Peacock. Yay, TV deals. Buckeyes are favored 34.5. Bobcats come to town, coached by head coach Brian Scott, who made some waves this week when they asked him about OSU having the two best players in the game, Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, and he responds with, "That's a great pair of wide receivers."
Yeah. I don't even have words. Yeah, you know who Caleb Downs is.
You do. Bobcats come in at 1-1. 34-31 loss in Piscataway to Rutgers, and then a 17-10 home dub over West Virginia. These guys are sneaky good.
Wow.
They are a legitimate contender to be the group of two or the group of 5 team.
Yeah,
especially with Boise taking that L already. They play Ohio State, and then I think like Prairie View next week, and then they get into the MAC schedule. Super, super heavy transfer portal team.
Yep.
But then when you look at the high schools that they have kids from too, especially in Ohio, they basically have kids from every big named high school in the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, coaching staff, not a lot of the names jumped out to me. I do think Chris Spielman's son, Noah, is their assistant strength coach.
Okay.
But obviously they're led by Parker Navarro.
Yeah. They're a good team. I mean, they just beat West Virginia. They are a very talented team. Like you said, they hit the transfer portal hard. What was it, last year, 2 years ago? Was it last year that they played Iowa State extremely hard?
I think so.
I think they might have even beat them. I can't even remember off the top of my head, but like they have talent. Curtis Rourke came from there. The Indiana quarterback, they're going to spin it. They're going to do some different things. They're well coached. I mean, they're going to come in and they're going to be amped up and they're going to be ready to go. And they feel good about themselves, right? They feel like they should be 2-0 against two Power 5 or Power 4 teams. And so they're going to be fired up for this game. And obviously it's, Ohio versus Ohio State. They want that battle for Ohio. They're going to be ready to go. And so the Buckeyes obviously are the much better team, but they can't come in here just going to sleep, and it's going to be it will be a game that it doesn't need to be. And so the coaching staff is going to find ways to get those guys into the game, and we just got to make sure that we resist the idea that we're just going to mud stomp them or anything like that, and we just go out there and execute and do what we do. But Ohio has some talent, and they are well coached, and they are going to come in here and expect to win.
Yeah. Parker Navarro, the quarterback, mobile quarterback, which has given OSU some fits in the past. 43 of 62, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks in 2 games. So he gets a little reckless with the ball. But then you look 27 carries, 180 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. It's going to be a good test because, I mean, just like you saw, they hung with Rutgers. OU would probably not finish last in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They would finish in the bottom third, but they would not finish last, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I could see that. And like you said, they recruit the state of Ohio well. They attack Central Ohio very well. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the country committed there right now in Levi Davis. I mean, they do a great job in recruiting. And so I think this is a very, very talented team. And this is not a game that you can overlook. And obviously it's a night game. So the Buckeyes are going to be ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be fired up for this. And I'm personally, I'm actually pretty excited for it. I think it's cool. I think this is a game that should be on a schedule every single year. Just because it's Ohio versus Ohio State. Like I think it's just a pretty cool matchup to have on there.
Michigan fans are real confused because they don't understand how Ohio is playing themselves.
Yeah.
We hit on the transfer portal just real quick. These are some of the schools. They have guys who were at least part of these programs. I didn't dive in and see how much they played, but just when you're a MAC school and you're starting to see with Eddie at BG, they saw how far away they still are with what Cincinnati did to them. But you bring in guys from these programs that have cultures of somewhat mild success and or that Power 4. It just brings a different element. So they have guys from Vanderbilt, App State, USC, UCLA, Cincinnati, Boise, Michigan, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Minnesota, the University of Virginia, and then a guy you might know about from Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah, my guy Nate Regal, a Findlay Trojan. God, I loved coaching Nate, man. He was an animal at linebacker for us at Findlay. He was a preferred walk-on down at Ohio State. They had him playing some defensive end. Coach Jay loved him. And Ohio State treated him well. They were very real with him about the process. When they were trying to figure out how this house bill thing was going to work, and they didn't understand how the scholarships and, the roster limits and everything. And they were very honest with him about the transfer portal and how that should be an option to go ahead and look into it. But they made it very clear they wanted him. Nate found an opportunity where he was going to be able to see the field, and he's seen a lot of special teams reps in his first 2 weeks of the season for Ohio, and he jumped at that opportunity. And so he's down there right now, man. And I'm excited for him. I know he's excited to come back and see his boys. But yeah, man, Nate's a dog, and that's a guy that I'm going to root for no matter what. So I hope he plays well on when he gets his opportunities on Saturday, man. So it will be fun to see him. It sucks not seeing him in the scarlet and gray, but I'm happy for him that he's continuing to live out his dream. And I'm glad Ohio State did right by him throughout the whole process, man. That means, I know as one of his old coaches, that means a lot to me. To see, one of your old guys being taken care of by your favorite school. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What is something, before we get into predictions, what's something you want to see out of the Buckeyes in this game?
Run game. I want to see that run game get going against a little better competition, obviously, than Grambling. Whether it's CJ, whether it's James Peoples, whether it's Bo, Isaiah West, I don't care who it is. I want to see the run game get going. I want to see our gap scheme with counter get going, and I want to see it humming, and I want to see us running confidently. I think before we get into the Big Ten slate, I think we need to have a couple games where that run game is moving very well. And so that is one of the things that I would really like to see from our offense, is that run game really to get going.
I like it. Prediction wise, line is 34.5. I think the Buckeyes cover it. I have it 49-7.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head last week, man. You said, what was it, 70-7?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right on it, man. I'm gonna go 42. I'll go 42-7. I think the run game's going to get going. We'll take our shots down the field. And then, once we get a comfortable lead, I do think you're going to see some guys rotate in, and we're just going to continue to run the ball. I do think the Buckeyes will be able to score some more points, but I do think 42-7 is what we'll land on. I
actually had that written down and changed it. To hop into the recruiting chips part of the episode, new scholarship offer went out this week, since we last recorded, to Landry Breed, 6'6", 290, offensive tackle from Mentor. 3-star guy, committed to North Carolina State. Sounds like there's a very real chance he takes an unofficial this weekend to Ohio State. I have to assume there's a very real chance we see a flip at some point. You don't offer a kid in-state kind of this late in the process without thinking you've got a chance.
Yeah, and you see that a lot with a lot of the in-state kids. They tell everybody, hey, we're going to review your first 3 weeks of the season. And we're going to reevaluate and see where you stand after those 3 weeks. Landry Breed was one of those guys. We had talked about him, back before the summer hit as a kid in state that could potentially be an offer. And I'm glad he got it. I think he should have been an offer a long time ago. I didn't think Ohio State really needed to leave the state of Ohio for offensive line at all. And Landry Breed is a stud. He plays with a mean streak, and I thought North Carolina State was getting an absolute steal with this kid. This is a kid that Coach Bowen had identified back when he was at Virginia Tech. And then when he first got to Ohio State, this is a kid that was one of his first people that he reached out to. And so I'm hoping that he gets on campus and this is a flip candidate and that we get him because I think this kid has unlimited potential. He's got a lot of versatility with guard and tackle, and he plays with that nasty mean streak. And those are the type of guys that we need in that offensive line room.
Yeah, and then another unofficial visitor, guy you're going to see later this year.
Yeah.
6'5", 235, defensive end / tight end. Does not hold an offer. And that is Carter Kessler from Shelby. Obviously, this is somebody the staff wants to talk to again, get in front of them. Berm hinted there may be some academic issues to clear. But anytime, you can get those kids, especially from a school the size of Shelby, to get to campus, take a look around. Worst case scenario, it's a win for the kid.
Oh, absolutely. And anytime any MOAC kid gets an opportunity to go visit Ohio State, I'm going to root for that kid. I believe he transferred in from Mansfield Senior. This kid is a player, very good athlete. Had a chance to see him over the summer at one of the Central Ohio combines that I attended. He can play. He's an athlete. He is every bit a 6'5". 235, 240. I think that's pretty accurate. He's got to put on some weight. But he's got all the intangibles, and Shelby is going to make sure he's in the weight room and eating right. That's one thing that they do well that the Whippets do well, is that they produce some big kids, man. And so he's going to put the weight on, and he's going to do some good things for them this year, as he is already. And so I think he's a player. And listen, I think there's some kids in the state of Ohio that we need to jump on. And, I know some things nationally haven't gone our way, but there's some kids in our backyard that are just itching for an opportunity. And I think it's time that we just pounce on him. And so if he's one of those guys, he's going to make the most of it. And so I'm excited for him, man. Listen, go make the most of it. Do what Bogpen did.
Yeah. And one last 26 note. A lot of people might have thought that we were just being silly when we hyped up Luke Fahey. Go watch the highlights from the first couple weeks of the year. It has now caught on mainstream how good Luke Fahey really is.
Yeah.
Obviously recruiting is very fluid, but say things stay the status quo. The after Tavian St. Clair quarterback battle between Luke Fahey and Brady Edmonds is going to be cinema.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see there. Everybody's favorite Michigan idiot, Dave Portnoy, tweeting at Chris Henry Jr. yesterday with a screenshot of Oracle's stock price shooting up, making Larry Ellison the richest man in the world.
Oh gosh.
Or at least in the country. Like, come on, bro. But yeah, so that's kind of the recruiting chips episode. Recruiting gets a little slow this time of year, but that's okay. Obviously if things continue to trend this way for the team, I think the Penn State game will be a massive weekend probably.
Yep.
Until Fox puts us at noon. Which is probably going to happen. But on the football side of life, that is all we've got, I think. Any parting words on a crazy day in our world?
No. I don't really have much to say, man. Just, it's okay to get along with people that you don't agree with. That's just one thing that I will leave us with.
I love it. Be kind to one another, love each other, and we will see you guys next time.